Hey, what's up? It's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. Now this video right here is a compilation of several videos that help make up the course that you're taking right now. Now to help you navigate through everything, I've provided timestamps down below in the description, so I recommend going, check out those timestamps, watching what's relevant to you. Let's get into it. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing, and in this video we're going to go ahead and install the Facebook pixel as well as some standard events on our ClickFunnels funnel. Now we're going to do it following the standard event method. There's also the event setup tool method that I have another video on. I recommend watching both of those videos to get a glimpse of how they both work and see which one would work best for you. This standard event method that we're going to do in this video, it works more frequently. It works like almost all the time. It's more reliable, but it doesn't provide you as many details as the event setup tool method, which it doesn't work. That method, the event setup tool, doesn't work as often, but it provides more details. So there's no perfect solution basically, but between the two, hopefully you can figure out which one will work best for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so here's our funnel right here, and your funnel might look differently, of course, but if you understand the concept that we're gonna go over here, you'll understand how to apply it to your funnel. So we have a few pages of our funnel, and we want to map out the different standard events throughout our funnel. And if you don't know what a standard event is, basically it's like an event that Facebook can optimize for. So let's say you want to optimize for purchases. Well, then you want that event to fire after somebody purchases something, and then Facebook could optimize for purchases, right? So it just lets Facebook see what is happening on your website. So that's why you want to make sure your events are set up properly. All right, so the first page of my funnel is a squeeze page, and if somebody opts in on my squeeze page, then they become a lead, right? And they land on my welcome and pre-sale page, which is, welcome to my website, go check your email to get your lead magnet, here's what to do next, etc. So basically, if somebody lands on this page, my welcome and pre-sale page, then they're a lead. So we want to trigger the lead standard event on that page. So that makes sense, right? The next page of my funnel is the order form / sales page. And this is a page, that sells a product, collects their payment, etc. And so what I do as personal preference is I put the view content standard event or event on my order form and sales pages. And this is like personal preference because I want to be able to track how many people are hitting my sales pages. So I fire the view content event on all my sales pages, on my funnels, on my website, etc. because I want to track sales page views, because the only way people are going to buy something is if they go to a sales page and try and buy something, right? So that's like a significant page for me, and I want to keep an eye on it. So that's why I add the view content event to those pages, and that might be applicable to you or might not. But anyway, that's what I do. You can follow my footsteps if you want to. All right, the next option here is I want to add an add to cart event on this page as well. This is a two-step funnel, or a two-step order form, I'm sorry. And if you don't know what a two-step order form is, I'll pop it up real quick so you can see it. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the training. Real quick, I have a special offer that I want to present to you where you can get a digital copy of my book as well as an audio copy. Plus, I'm giving away 20 pre-written emails that make your email writing a piece of cake. And finally, I have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures for a small business, and it includes training on how to actually set up the funnel. If you're interested in that, plus several other bonuses, link in the description down below, or there'll be a link in the little box up above here. So if you're interested, check it out. Back to the training. So this is a two-step order form over here. Basically, somebody fills out step 1 with their contact and shipping information. They hit go to step 2, and what I want to do is trigger an event, an add to cart event, when they hit the go to step 2 button. And because that's a little further down the checkout process, right? Add to cart, like that means that they're wanting to buy it, and I want to track that event. So add to cart makes sense because they're essentially adding the product to their cart at this point because they entered all this contact information, shipping information. Up next, they just got to enter in their payment information. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do is add to cart. Now, they're also buying on this page, but unfortunately, it's kind of hard to track when they buy on that page. It kind of works similarly to the lead right here, right? So they opt in here, but when they land on this page, it triggers the lead event. Same concept here. we're gonna have the purchase event on our OTO page. So they're gonna buy the product on this page, on our order form page, and then they're gonna land on our OTO1 page, and that's gonna trigger the purchase event. And that's because, you know, the only way to get to OTO number 1 is to actually buy something. So that's why we're gonna trigger the event on that page. And then, yes, they could buy something on the OTO1 page, they could buy something on OTO2 page, they could buy something on the downsell page, but we're not gonna trigger any events on those pages because they might buy something or they might not buy something. It's real hard to track what they're buying with these standard events. So that's one of the downsides of this method here, is you're only tracking this initial purchase from the order form. You're only tracking that initial purchase, and you're kind of missing out on the OTOs and the downsells. So that's where this method is lacking a little bit, but it works more often. Like the other method with the event setup tool, it does not work as often as this method. And in my opinion, it's much better to have something work you know, most of the time and give you a little less details than have something work not much but give you more details, right? Because really all you really need to do is tell Facebook who buys something. Yeah, all this other OTO tracking and purchases would be nice to have, but it's not as important as getting that initial purchase. You want to make sure that you're getting your buyers, you know, segmented out, and so Facebook can optimize for buyers. So enough of that. Let's go over and set up our pixel and our standard events on our funnel. So here we are in the Facebook Ads Manager, and you want to come over to All Tools and Pixels. And if you don't have a Facebook Ads account yet, you can Google that, how to set that up, or go to YouTube or whatever. It's a simple thing to do. I don't have a video on that right now, but I think you can figure it out. All right, so I already have a pixel, so I'm going to click on it. But if you don't have a pixel, you'd have a button here that says like create a pixel. And you click that button and boom, you have a pixel. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and set up and install Pixel. And I want to go ahead and manually add pixel code to my website. And so it gives us this block of code here, and it tells us where to put it in the header section. So let's go over to our funnel. And I want to go to our funnel level settings, which is in this blue row right here. So settings. And I want to go to head tracking code and paste my Facebook pixel in there. So boom, just like that. Don't make any changes to it. It's perfect just the way it is. And we come down here and save and update settings. And since I pasted my pixel in my funnel level settings area, it applied my pixel to all of the pages and steps in my funnel. So all these pages and steps now have my Facebook pixel in the header automatically, because I added my code here. So that's pretty cool, right? You don't have to go and update each individual page. So that's how you install the pixel. Then we have step 2, which is turn on automatic advanced matching. Now you can read a little bit more about it if you want to. I recommend turning it on and then tracking for the different fields that you are recording, like people are entering data into. So I'm collecting email addresses, city, state, and zip, first and last name. And so I'm collecting all this information, so I'm going to tell Facebook to kind of look for that information. All right, and then I'm going to hit continue. And now we have this option here. They say use Facebook's event setup tool. So that's the other method that I've been talking about. So if you're interested in that, go check out that video. I'll have a link to it below, and you can go check it out. But what we're going to do is the manually add event code. So this is the standard event method, or the old way, basically. But again, it's more reliable, just less details. So I still use this way and prefer this way personally. So anyway, so we got some options here of different events we could go ahead and track for. And the first event that I'm looking for is a lead event right here. And I don't see lead right here, so what I'm going to do is select this drop down here, and we'll just say professional services. And I know there's a lead event in here, so I'll select over here. We can track different parameters if we want to, like if we know a conversion value, we could enter that information here. I don't have any, values to apply, so I'm just going to leave the code empty. I can untick this if I want to, but it's the same code. So I'm going to copy this code right here, and then what I want to go ahead and do is go over to my funnel and open my welcome and pre-sale page, and I want to go ahead and edit my page, and I want to go to settings and tracking code, and then I want to put it in my header code area, just like that. and close it and save it and back out of here. And just like that, I've installed my lead standard event. And I can go ahead and double check it real quick by popping up my page. And if you have the Facebook Pixel Helper tool installed, which I recommend you go get that, I'll have a link to it down below as well. It's a little plugin for Chrome, and it might be for other browsers too, but at least it works on Chrome and it's free. But it tells you what events fired on your pages. So we had the page view event, which happens automatically on any page that your pixel's installed on, so that's to be expected. And then we had the lead event be triggered as well. So good, we wanted the lead event to fire, so that's a good sign. So it looks like things are working so far. All right, let's come over. We have our order form and sales page next, and we have a view content event we want to fire. So let's go to order form, and we're gonna edit this page as well. And I wanna go to, I'll hit this drop down now, and I'll just go with, e-commerce and retail and hit view content. And there's parameters we could go ahead and fill out if we want to. I'm not going to, I'm just going for the general view content event. And I want to go ahead and paste this in my code as well, right here in my header area. And then I also want to go ahead and track my add to cart event. So we got to set that up too. Now I have to do a special little snippet for this one to work because I'm tracking it on a button click, and I have this little snippet of code and it'll be below this video so you can go ahead and copy and paste it. And basically what it does is it watches for the submit form two-step link to be clicked. So when that link is clicked, and this link happens to be the go to step 2 button on the two-step order form, so it's watching that. So on that click, on click, it's going to trigger this event here. So it'll send the add to cart event. So let's go ahead and copy this code, and we'll go ahead and go back to our funnel. And this particular code goes in the footer area. It doesn't work in the head area. So if you're having issues, double check where you pasted this code. It's got to go in the footer code area. So just want to put that out there. Otherwise you're going to have some issues. So let's close that, save it real quick, and then we can back out of it. And then of course we can go ahead and test it real quick. So let's pop up our page and let's look at our pixel helper. So we got the page view, which again shows up whenever there's a pixel, view content. So that's that event we want to track for our sales pages, so that worked. And then we see that the add to cart event is yellow. Now this is a good sign because we see that the add to cart event is on our page. It's just yellow, which means it hasn't been fired yet, and that makes sense. We haven't clicked this go to step 2 button yet, so it shouldn't have fired. So that's a good thing. So let's go ahead and fire it, or try to fire it. So I click that button. Now I come over here and we see add to cart is now green. So awesome, it seems to have worked. We're now tracking the add to cart standard event. So good to go. All right, let's go on. So the next page and event of our funnel is gonna be the purchase event. So let's go over to OTO number 1. Let's go ahead and edit this page. And let's go ahead and come into our pixel area. And let's look for our purchase event. So here's our purchase event. And we want to go ahead and track it, right? We want to track those purchases. Now, we could go ahead and just track a straight up purchase event if we want to. And for most people, that's probably good enough. You just need to track those purchases. But if you do want to play with some like lifetime value type optimization and things of that nature, you could go ahead and add some values here. And what I'd recommend doing is add that either the initial offer, like the average initial offer value, so whatever people spend on average on that initial product, or your average customer value through that entire funnel. So what the average customer value is worth, you might want to plug that value in here. Now also what you could do is just use this generic code and then upload your customer list later on with the lifetime value, and that'd probably be a better way to do it. But anyway, so you know, at the end of the day, you want to track purchases. That's the key thing. That's 95% of the way there. If you could track values at the same time, that'd be awesome, but it's not the end of the world. I don't want you like confusing yourself or not taking action because you're scared about the values and prices and stuff. That's not what's important. The purchase is important. And then values, just go for, you know, your average order value. So I'll just say $10 is my average order value, USD. And then I can go ahead and copy that code, and I come over to my page. settings, tracking code, and put it in my header, and close it, and save it, and back out of here, and pop this open, and make sure it fires. Come up in here, and we got the purchase event, and we see it's 10 USD, so it appears to be working. So there we go. We've gone ahead and set up the pixel and our standard events across our funnel, so now we could have Facebook optimize based off of whatever events we choose. And for one more final check on things, let's come back over to the Facebook pixel area here and go to test events. Let's go ahead and clear our activity, and then refresh our page. And let me grab my funnel link while it's refreshing. And let's go to our funnel and open it up. And now it should start tracking events, and we should make sure that all of our events fire off like we think that they will. I mean, we did test it with our Facebook Pixel Helper, but if for some reason you don't have that tool or you couldn't get it to work, well, this is another way to test your events. So page view worked, which makes sense on this page. Let me opt in. There was some weird stuff in there. So opt in, landed on this page, which is a lead page. So I got a lead event fired off. Good to go. Onto my next page, which is my sales page, should have a view content event, which I do. Awesome. Then go ahead, fill this thing out. Go to step 2. Should have an add to cart event fired, which I do. Awesome. Let's go ahead and check out real quick. And complete order. And I should have a purchase event come up here in a second. There we go. Purchase event triggered. And then that should be the end of my events, no matter what else I buy in here. Now I'll have some page view events, but that's kind of insignificant. Yeah, so the page view. So the main point is the key events fired, my lead event fired, my view content event fired, my add to cart event fired, my purchase event fired. So you can see how you tracked somebody through your entire funnel process. You're giving Facebook that information. They can optimize for these events and, really, supercharge your marketing efforts. And that is it for this video. Hopefully you found it helpful and educational, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing, and in this video we're going to set up the Facebook pixel on our ClickFunnels funnel using the event setup tool. Now there's a couple other methods you could go ahead and apply the Facebook pixel to your funnel. The other method that I teach is the standard event method, and I have another video on that. I recommend watching both of these videos to see which one would work best for you. Basically, this event setup tool, it's a little more detailed, but it doesn't work as often as the standard event method. And then the standard event method is not as detailed, but it works more often and you have less issues with it. So there's pros and cons to each. Neither is perfect, just to warn you. But it's what we got, so it's what we're going with. So anyway, let's hop into it. And again, this is the event setup tool method versus the standard event method, which is a different video. All right, so here's our funnel here, and your funnel might look different, but as long as you understand the concept here, you should be able to apply it to your funnel. So the first page of my funnel is a squeeze page, and if somebody opts in on the squeeze page, they become a lead, right? So I want to go ahead and track that event. So if they land on my welcome pre-sale page, that would be a lead, right? Because the only way to get to this page is if they opt in. And so I want to track leads. The next page of my funnel is the order form / sales page. And this is a page where they could go ahead and enter their credit card information and buy the product. So there's a couple different events that can happen on this page. The first event is a view content event. So this is kind of a personal preference thing. I put this view content event on all of my sales pages. So any page that might lead to a sale, I put the view content event on, and that's just kind of personal preference. And then I can track, view content events, and see how many people are landing on sales page. I can optimize for sales page views, things of that nature. So that's why I put view content events on the order form or sales pages. Again, personal preference. You can do whatever you want. There's also, this is a 2-step order form. So if you don't know, on ClickFunnels, you can have a 2-step order form where they fill out step 1 on the order form and it can capture their contact information. But I like to count that as an add to cart. So here we go. So here's the form. They hit this go to step 2 button, and when they hit go to step 2, I want to count that as an add to cart because they're basically adding the product to their cart at this point in time, and they're about to check out and buy. So I want to track that add to cart event. So we have add to cart event, and then we also have the purchase event because they can purchase a product on this page, right? So I want to track purchases, of course. So we'll throw that event on there as well. Now the next page of my funnel is an OTO page, so one-click upsell page, and of course they could buy something here. So we got the purchase event over here as well. Oops. And of course on OTO2, they can buy something, and then on the downsell, they can also buy something. On the order confirmation page, they're through the funnel. They're not going to buy anything else. They're not going to do any significant events, so not tracking anything here. And this is pretty much the structure of events for my funnel. So let's go ahead and set this up. So here I am in the Facebook Ads Manager, and hopefully you know how to create a Facebook Ads account. This isn't a video on that, but you can Google it or YouTube it, and there's instructions on how to set it up. Anyway, I'm over here under All Tools, Event Manager, and Pixels real quick. We got to go ahead and add the pixel to our funnel. So we'll set this up, and I got my pixel here. If you don't have a pixel yet, there'll be a button that says like Create Pixel. But if you have a pixel, you can click into it, and we'll go to Setup and Install Pixel, and we're going to manually add the code to our website. And we'll go ahead and grab this block of text right here, or block of code. And then we're going to go to the funnel level settings. So in this blue row right here, go to settings. And we want to go ahead and paste our Facebook pixel code in the head tracking code area. So right there, you don't make any changes to it or anything like that. And we come down and save. And since we added the code to our funnel level settings, that added the pixel to all of the pages in our website or in our funnel. So all these pages or steps automatically have the Facebook pixel code in the header now because we added the code here in the funnel level settings area. All right, so we got that going for us. Now we have automatic advanced matching. So you can read a little bit about it. I do recommend turning it on. It makes your tracking a little more accurate. So we're gonna leave it on. If you wanna read more, you can read that real quick. And basically I'm gonna be tracking email, city, state, and zip, first and last name. So I'm taking all that information into my order form. So I wanna track it, and I'll hit continue. And then it tells us to set up our event so that way we can track things, right? Because, I mean, just seeing people on your pages doesn't help you much. You want to track those events. And we're using the event setup tool in this video, but in the other video I use the manually add event code. So again, those are like the two different methods for adding the code to the Facebook or the ClickFunnels funnels. And yeah, again, there's pros and cons to each. All right, event tool. All right, so now we can go ahead and start adding events to our pages. And the first page in my funnel that has an event on it is my welcome and pre-sale page. I'm going to trigger the lead event. So let's come over to here, my ClickFunnels, and my welcome and pre-sale page. I'll go ahead and copy my link to it, and I'll paste it on in here and open my website. And you see that the Facebook event setup tool popped up on my website now. And there's a couple options here. We can track via a button, or we can track via a URL. Now the URL option is more accurate. Like basically you're tracking if they land on a page and it triggers the event, whereas a button, you're tracking if they click on a button in your funnel. And so button clicks are not as accurate because, you know, sometimes people might click a button and mess up the form, or, you know, click weirdly and it'll trigger the event, but the person won't have actually submitted the event. So I guess the standard operating procedure would be to track URL if possible, fall back on button clicks. Okay, so we're going to do both options in this funnel, so you'll see what I'm saying, but yeah. All right, so in this particular case, we're going to track when they land on this page, so we're going to track URL. And we want to go ahead and track this as a lead event, and URL contains, and I want to go ahead and edit this a little bit. I'm going to delete off this HTTPS www portion because who knows, somebody might somehow land on this page without the www in there or something weird, who knows. So as long as it contains my URL, I'm good to go. I'm also going to delete this -A. So this is variation A of my step, my page, and there might be a variation B someday, C someday, whatever. So I want to just include the shoes welcome and not the variation name. I'll go ahead and confirm it. And so that is it for this page right here. So I'm just going to do finish setup, and it tells me what events I have set up on this page. So right here, and finish. And we're going to test events in a minute, so we'll set everything up first and then come back and test everything. So I'll go close, and then we need to go to setup again and set up new events, and then load up the event tool. And then the next page of my funnel is my order form and sales page. So let's grab the link to that page, and we'll copy it and pop it open. All right, and then what I want to go ahead and do is track the URL on this one, because this is a view content event. So let's go here, wherever it is. So track URL and select event. And this is a view content event. And if it contains, and same concept, I'm going to delete off the HTTPS www and that A and confirm. So now I got the view content event going on. And then the next event I want to go ahead and track is add to cart. So when they go to step 2 of my 2-step order form, I want to go ahead and track that as well. So let's go ahead and let me fill out this form real quick, and it doesn't matter what information. Okay, so track new button, and I want to track my go to step 2 button. So I click on that, and then I want to go ahead and do add to cart, my add to cart event when they click that button, and confirm. Cool. And now I'm going to actually click on that button, and I want to go ahead and add a new event here. So when they click this complete order button, I want to go ahead and track that as a purchase event. So let's go ahead and track new button, and I want to go ahead and track my complete order event here, and I want to go ahead and track purchase, and I can go ahead and assign a value to this purchase as well. So that's pretty cool stuff, right? So I'm going to do choose value on page, and this is kind of where it becomes more accurate than the standard event method, because you can't track values as easily using the standard event method as you can using this event setup tool method. So here we can go ahead and select what our total is for our cart, and I'm going to select this value right here. And it's actually pretty cool. Like if I selected black shoes, it would automatically know that the value of the purchase is $50 or $60, I'm sorry, instead of $50, right? So that's pretty cool. It like dynamically updates based off of what they're buying. So pretty cool stuff right there. I'll go ahead and confirm it. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish setup. And so here's my pixels or events, I'm sorry, that I've added to this page. So view content, add to cart goes off when the button go to step is clicked. And then the purchase event is fired off when the complete order event or the complete order button is clicked. So cool, got my 3 events, and I'll test later on. All right, so moving on to the next step in our funnel is our OTO page. And I actually want to make a change to my page real quick before I add my event. So I'm going to come to OTO, and I want to edit this page, and I want to come on down here, and I want to make sure that the writing on my button is unique. All right, that's something that I've run into before. If you don't have unique buttons on your OTO steps, things get a little confusing. So I recommend making your OTO buttons unique. And so let's click into it and say, yes, I want the shoelaces for, I don't know, $10, I think it is. All right, cool. And I'll delete the subtext off of here. And okay, so I changed the text on my button to make it unique to this page and this offer. I also did something a little sneaky earlier. I added a headline box, and it's got some text in it. So let's see what the text is. So if you can read that or not. Here, let me make it big and black so you can see it. All right, so basically I made a hidden dollar amount that I could go ahead and assign this button to be worth. And of course, this dollar amount is how much the product is. So that way I can keep track of how much people are spending on their funnel or on their purchases. So there might be a better way to do it, but I just add the number and as a text or headline element, and then I go ahead and I make it really small, and I make it the background of the page so no one can see it. And but except for the Facebook event setup tool, it can see that dollar amount, and you'll see what I mean in just a second of how that gets applied. So that's OTO 1 real quick. Same concept to the downsell. Let me go ahead and do that. and I'll leave it as alrighty, I'll take it, that's fine enough. I did add the value here. You see there's a $7 value right there. That my downsell's only $7, and that button's unique enough for that page. OTO number 2 now, and we'll edit the page, and same concept over here. Let me go ahead and change my button language real quick. Yes, add the shoe cleaner to my order for $15. And I'll delete this thing off of here. Okay, cool. And I'd have that hidden $15 text box up here. See, 15. Okay, cool. Save. And we'll exit out of there. All right, so now I got my pages better formatted for this Facebook event tool. And now I need to go ahead and add my events. So we'll grab my URL to my OTO page, come up to setup, and set up new events. And use an event tool, go to my website, and I want to go ahead and track a new button, and I'll click on this button here, and I want to select my purchase event, and I want to choose a value on this page, and I want to select my little hidden value down here. So I'll select this option, and you see that it found the $10 right there. So that's what I was showing you. By hiding your text right there, you can select a value for it. So it's a little sneaky way to do it. Again, there might be a better way, but this works and had no issues. So confirm, and I want to go ahead and finish, and close. So cool, that event's good to go. Go to my downsell page now. Same exact concept, copy the link, go to setup, go to event, and event tool, and open website. And track a new button, track my already I'll take it button, and this is a purchase event, and I want to choose a value on the page, choose my little hidden value of $7, confirm, finish setup, finish, close, setup, new event, and OTO page, or OTO number 2 page, and we'll copy this and use a tool, paste it in there, open website, and track new button event, just like this button here, and this is a purchase. When they click that button, they're buying it. Choose value on the page, select my hidden value, $15, confirm, and finish setup, and finish. And then I do want to go ahead and test some events. So if you see information in here already, you can go ahead and clear the activity, and then you might have to refresh your page in order to get this little thing to pop up. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. If you have stuff in here and you're not seeing this little box, go ahead and clear activity, refresh your page, and then you should see this box to enter your funnel information. So let me go ahead and copy it to my clipboard, my funnel, and let's go through the whole thing. So open website, and as you see in here, I started to update things. So we have page view, and this is just a standard event that is fired whenever somebody lands on a page that has your pixel on it. So you'll see page view a lot. It just means that your pixel is firing, basically. And then of course there's the view content page or event that's a little bit more significant, and you can track and optimize for view content, in which case I track for sales page views. All right, going back over here, let's proceed through our funnel. So let's go ahead and I'll throw in a few more characters in here and hit download my copy. And now I'm on my welcome and pre-sale page, which should have triggered my welcome or my lead event. I'm sorry. So we got page view again, that's gonna fire every time, but we see lead. So awesome, we're tracking leads. That's what I wanted to do. So we're making progress. All right, let's go on to the next page of our funnel, which is our sales page order form. And this should have triggered the view content event. Awesome, good to go. It's working, it's exciting. Okay, so we fill out all this information on this page, and we hit go to step 2, and that should add to cart, I hope. Let's see. We got the add to cart event. Okay, so we're shooting 100% right now. So again, sometimes this tool is good and reliable. Sometimes, it doesn't track like any events at all, and you're like, what the heck? Especially button clicks. Button clicks are hit or miss. Pages tend to be pretty accurate, but button clicks, they're hit or miss. All right, let's go ahead and select black shoes. So we change that value down there, and let's go ahead and check out. And also, if we did have a bump in here, it would get a little funky. It wouldn't show, like tracking the amounts would get a little funky. There is a tool, I believe CF Pro Tools has a tool that can do a sub-order total, and you could track that amount. So if you do have bumps, like you could potentially manipulate it to get a subtotal. Just wanted to point that out, that a bump could throw off your amount unless you're using a CF Pro tool. Anyway, moving on. Let's hit this complete purchase button. And hopefully we see a purchase event fire. Okay, let's see. So we got purchase. Woohoo! And if we click into it real quick, we see that the value came through at $60. So awesome. Things are looking good so far. Now I'm going to pause for a minute or so, give somebody, time to watch this video, read through the sales copy we have, and decide whether they want to buy the OTO or not. So give me a second. All right, so it's been a minute, and basically the reason I was waiting a minute to make it kind of more realistic, and I think Facebook, they don't like, if you trigger the purchase event like back to back to back to back, like when you're testing it, like it's gonna mess up, or it's not gonna mess up, but Facebook's like, somebody must be clicking the purchase button a bunch of times, and they don't count it as unique purchases. So I wanted to give it a couple minutes to like reset the count and be like, okay, this must be a brand new purchase, right? So that's something to be mindful of when you're testing your funnel, is don't just click, yes, I want it, yes, I want it, yes, I want it, to see if it triggers events, because it's probably not going to. Instead, you got to wait up a minute or two to let Facebook kind of calm down, so it thinks that it's a different purchase. And still, even sometimes it still doesn't work. So, this is going to be 50-50. All right, so we're going to say, yes, I want this. And hopefully we come over to our page and we have another event fired, and we don't, unfortunately. So we don't have that purchase event on our OTO page. We tried really hard, okay? I waited and everything else. So this is what I'm talking about with the reliability of this method. Now you see it worked, for our lead page, it worked for add to cart, it acted for view content, it acted for that initial purchase. So that's all good stuff. And that's pretty much what the standard event method does as well. So, it does pretty much, this has been pretty reliable so far, but as you see, when you get to those OTO pages, it gets funky. And sometimes it works though. It does work sometimes. I don't know what the difference is. I wish I knew, but anyway. And the reason for me talking for a minute was I was trying to give it another second to, refresh. But we'll click the button anyway. Maybe it'll fire the purchase event, maybe not. I don't know. So anyway, here I am on my order confirmation page now. If I go back over here, we just see another page view event being fired. No other purchase events. So darn it. I was hoping it would work, especially since I'm shooting this video, but this also goes to prove the point that it's not the most reliable option, but it's also can be a little more accurate, a little more detailed. So, you pick your poison basically between this method and the standard event method. Again, I recommend going to watch that video too, so you can see the differences. And yeah, so that's essentially how you do it. And hopefully you found this video helpful. And thank you. Have a great day. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add the Facebook pixel to your ClickFunnels funnels, and also how you can set it up so you can track conversions on your funnels. So very cool, powerful stuff. But before we get into it, just know that this is a complicated technical tutorial, okay? This is not an easy thing to do. So if you're easily overwhelmed or not very technically savvy, I have a couple other videos on how to add the Facebook pixel to a ClickFunnels funnel. Now they're not as accurate or precise or the best necessarily, but they work well and they're easier. So look at the links below or around this video for those videos. There's a standard event method and then the event setup tool method. So those two methods they have their pros and cons, but they're easier than what I'm about to show you here. All right, so let's go ahead and just get into it. So this is our simple little funnel here. So I have an order form, two-step order form page right here. and I know what events I want to install. I want the view content event, so if they land on this page, I want to trigger the view content event. And also, since it's a two-step order form, I want to go ahead and do an add to cart event as well. So when they fill out step 1, hit submit, it add to cart event gets fired off. OTO number 1 here then, I'm going to have 2 separate purchase events on this page. The first one's going to be for people that purchase off of this page, so it'll fire right when somebody lands on this page. The second one will be if they buy one of the OTOs. So if they buy the OTO, it'll trigger another conversion event. Over here on OTO number 2, we have a purchase event if they buy OTO number 2. So we'll trigger it that way. Order confirmation doesn't have any events on it, so we don't have anything to worry about there. And then we have our membership access area, and we want to go ahead and see how many people actually create their membership. So we're going to put a custom event on their create an account option. So that's what our goal is to set up here in this video. And I might skip a step, like I might not set up OTO2 purchases, because if you understand how to do it on OTO1, there's no reason to set it up over here. Save you a couple minutes of time, basically. So, but you'll understand the concept and how to trigger events based off of things like clicks or page views and things of that nature. All right, so let's go over to Google Tag Manager. So of course you need Google Tag Manager first to do this. So you can Google Tag Manager, should bring you to this type of website here, and go ahead, create your account. It's free, and log in and all that stuff. If you have accounts already, you'll probably see a page that looks similar to this, or you can just come up here, create an account. And then what you need to go ahead and do is create a container. Now what I recommend is 1 container per funnel. Okay, so that keeps things nice and organized and neat. So yeah, if you don't know any difference, just remember 1 container per funnel. Stick with that rule unless you understand a different way of doing things. But if you're new, 1 container per business. So to do it, come in here and do create container and container name, and I'm going to call it the same name as my funnel, so that way I keep things straight. So I got the AliExpress funnel here. I'll copy that, throw that in there. This is target platform is web, and create. And it gives us 2 snippets of code we got to go ahead and install on our funnel. So I'm over here under the funnel level settings. Do this in the header area. So there's that snippet. And then I got this snippet over here. It says put it in the body. So we're going to put it in the body tracking code. And then I scroll to the bottom, save and update settings. And now my Google Tag Manager code is installed across my funnel, right? Because if I add any code in this area, it adds it to all the pages of my funnel. So sweet, tag code is installed. All right, now we got to get into it. Google Tag Manager has a lot of features and functionality, and if it's interesting to you, I recommend taking a course on it. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. I'm covering like bottom 3% of it. Like there's so much stuff you can do with it, but I'm going to cover what you need to do exactly what we're talking about, tracking conversions in ClickFunnels funnels. But there's a lot more you can do, really cool, powerful stuff. All right, so basically how it works is we have a couple of things here. We got tags. And tags are like your pixel. So Facebook pixel will be a tag. Your events will be tags. So purchase event, lead event if you have that, view content event, custom events, etc. Those are all tags. Triggers are what makes a tag pop up. So that could be like a page loading. That could be the trigger for a tag to appear. Clicks, so button click, link click could be the reason that a tag appears. Things of that nature. Variables are things you could go ahead and track. We're going to set up a few variables as well that we can go ahead and track. But yeah, they're for, variables. So you could throw like your Facebook pixel ID into a variable, and then you just reference that variable instead of referencing the code like in the code itself. That probably didn't make much sense, but if you know what a variable is, that's what it is. All right, so and then you got folders and organizational stuff. Let's go ahead and create a tag now. And a new tag. And this will just be Facebook pixel. Boom. All right, tag configuration, click on that. And we want to come to custom HTML. And we want to come into Facebook Manager and come into all this stuff in pixels. And you want to go ahead and click in your pixel here. And then go to setup and install pixel. And then manually add pixel code to your website. and grab this snippet of code right here. Come over to Google Tag Manager, throw it in there, and then we want to come down to the bottom here and tag firing priority. We want to set this as some absurdly large number. Basically, the larger the number, the earlier your tag will fire. And since this is the main tag we're tracking, we want it to fire first. So just put a big number in there and then you're safe. All right, so throw a big number in there, and we're not going to mess with any of these other options here. But we're going to come down to triggering real quick, and we're going to trigger this on all pages, and then we're going to go ahead and save it. And we put it on all pages because we want our Facebook pixel on all pages in our funnel, right? That makes some sense. I'm going to go ahead and submit it real quick and publish it and continue. And then I'm going to come back to my workspace here. And I want to go ahead and preview it, so I'll click preview. And now I'm in preview mode, so if I come over to my funnel and I pop up my funnel, I see a little Google Tag Manager box right here. So this is kind of like my working window, so to say, and it tells me what's going on. So we had a couple events happen, so page view, DOM ready. I can't remember what DOM stands for, window loaded. But the point is, over here, under page view, we see that the tags fired on this event are my custom HTML, and it succeeded, and that's my Facebook pixel. So it looks like it worked over here. If I come up here to my Facebook pixel helper, which is a free Chrome extension, if you don't have it, go get it. I'll help you test things out. I'll have a link below this video or around this video. You can check it out. But we also see that my Facebook pixel went off over here too. So Facebook courses version 4 pixel went off, page view event. Awesome. Seems to be working. Both Tag Manager and the Facebook Pixel Helper saying that it worked. Looks like it worked. All right, so that was easy. That's the easy part right there, is adding that code. All right, so another code we want to go ahead and add is a view content event, right? That was our thing over here, view content if this page loads. So come over here and let's come on down to the bottom here and continue and manually add event code. And I'm looking for this view content event. And I want to go ahead and select it right here. So view content, and then come back over, and then I will do under tags, new, I'll do FB for Facebook and view content. Oh, no colon, my bad, dash. All right, tag configuration, custom HTML, throw that little snippet in there. I'm not going to mess with any other settings right now. Hit save, save tag. And then I want to come down to triggers and new. And then I want to do order form view content. Okay, so that I'm going to set up my trigger order form view content. Now, of course, you can name it however you like. I just try to keep things simple. Since we're using one container per funnel, should be pretty easy to keep things organized. So whatever naming convention seems to work for you. All right, so what I want to do is on a page view and some page views and page host name or page path, we'll go with page path contains, and I want it to contain cat. So I'll type that in there, cat. Now, one thing actually I probably need to change is all my page paths contain cat in this particular instance. So what I actually want to do is equals cat. If it page path equals cat, then fire this pixel right here. So save or fire this trigger. And then I need to come back to my tags and click on it and come down to triggers and add order form view content and save. And I'll go ahead and submit, publish, continue, and back to workspace. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh my preview. Come back to my funnel, hit refresh, wait for my window to pop up. And I see right here that my tag did not fire like I thought it would. Dang it, I messed something up. So let's come over here to variables, okay? And let's see, so what actually happened, page path URL string is this right here. So this is what I should have entered, not just cat, I should have entered /cat, right? So, okay, good to know. So I'm gonna come back over here to Google Tag Manager, edit my trigger, edit, and edit right here. and then save. And there we go. So now my tag fired over here. If I come to my Facebook pixel helper, I see view content event fired off as well. So good deal there. And hopefully now you can kind of see, I tried to introduce you to this variables option over here. So we come over, we select the appropriate placement here, and we come over to variables, we can see what we can choose from for our trigger. So we got like page host name, so we could have used this, or page path, or page URL, or page or referrer. So there's different, options here for you to select for your triggers. All right, so we're gonna deal a lot with this, so we're coming back to it. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and do something. We're gonna come over here to variables, and we're gonna go ahead and enable a bunch of default built-in variables. So we're gonna configure now, and basically, if you don't know what to select, select them all, okay? So in my case, I don't know what to select. I'm gonna select them all, just so I have everything to choose from. I've not seen or heard of selecting them all. I haven't heard if it slows down your website or anything like that, so I think the more information, the merrier, especially if you don't know what you might need. So we'll select them all. So those are all the variables. Awesome, got them selected right there. And now there's another trigger I want to go ahead and add, and new, and I'm going to call it generic click. And the point of this trigger is it's going to fire off every time I click on the page, and you'll see why we want to do that in a minute. So click on there, click all elements, all clicks, save. Gonna go ahead, submit. All right, sorry about that. My kid woke up from his nap and had to go do fatherly things, but we're back at it again. All right, so basically what we just did was install a generic click. So every time I click anywhere on this page, you'll notice that in the Google Tag Manager, this click event fires, right? So when I click on stuff, it keeps firing. And the point of that is every time I click, it pops up and stores different variables based off of what I click on. So if I click like on this button over here and come up to the latest click, we see that there's some stuff going on here, like click element, we see some information, text, click text, we see some information over here, versus if I click on this image and go over here, we see some different information, right? And these variables let us decide when to trigger different events. So in our particular funnel here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to trigger an add to cart event when they click the button on this first step of this two-step order form, right? So they fill out this information over here, click this button, we want add to cart event to fire. So let's go ahead and set that up. So come back to Google Tag Manager, let's go ahead and set up our tag, and come back to Facebook Pixels, and set up and install Pixel, and manually add the code, continue, and manually add event code. All right, so let's look for the add to cart event. Here it is right here. Now, if you don't see it, you can click this drop down and select an option that has like a typical add to cart event. E-commerce and retail, of course, add to cart is applicable, so we'll select that option. Come on down here, and we can go ahead and just select the generic code. If you want to get all fancy and stuff with it, you could add conversion values and currency and all sorts of stuff if you want to. But that's beyond the scope of this little training here. All right, so let's go ahead, add tag, and new over here, and we'll do, oh, not that, FB add to cart. Tag configuration, custom HTML, paste it on in there, not gonna mess with anything else. Hit save, save tag. Cool. Now we're gonna come over to triggers here and set up our trigger. So we'll go ahead and do new, and we'll do order form add to cart and trigger configuration. So now we need to figure out what is going to be our trigger for the add to cart, right? That's our goal. We probably want to do clicks. We're going to click that button, right? So it makes sense to do clicks. Then let's come over to our funnel. All right, so if I click over here in just the orange section and come up to my latest click, we see some information. I try and make this bigger. So we see stuff like click text, cat paw necklace, get cat paw necklace now. Yes, I want this limited offer. So it looks like it includes both pieces of text here. We see like a click element over here where it does like the pound sign or hashtag submit form 2-step. We see up here we have click classes. We have some information here, in particular step 1. So pay attention to that. So we have some information. We could go ahead and use those variables to kind of like use that to be a trigger, right? But ClickFunnels does something kind of interesting with their buttons. They create them as divs. Now I can't quite remember what div means, but it's basically like a little HTML element. And you can put divs inside of divs, inside of divs, inside of divs. So you need to be careful tracking their buttons. So you notice I clicked in this orange portion. I tried to point that out. So I clicked in this orange portion the first time. But if I click on the text right here and come over here, we see that stuff changed, right? So the classes changed. We still see step 1 here, so that's a key thing to note. The click text changed. Now it just says get cat paw necklace now. We're not including the subtext over here. There's some other stuff in here, but we're not gonna mess with all that stuff right now. It's not important. I'm just trying to demonstrate or illustrate a point to you. All right, if we click down here, this subtext, and come over here, we see still step 1 up here. So again, I'm pointing this out for a reason, but we see also, yes, I want this limited time offer. So click text has changed every time I clicked on this button. If I clicked in this orange section, it showed both of these. If I clicked the top text, it only showed the get cat paw necklace now. If I click down here, the subtext, it says, yes, I want this limited time offer. So the point is people might click this button in various locations, right? So you need to be mindful of that. If you've selected, like you want to set your trigger to, yes, I want this limited offer, like it's only going to work if they click this subtext, or if you do like a contains, yes, I want this limited offer, if they click this orange portion. But if they click this text up here, like it would not trigger your tag, and that would not be good, right? But one thing that is consistent across the orange area, this top area, and this subtext is this step 1. That has been consistent, and it is unique to this step 1 button right here. So that's what we want to go ahead and set as our trigger when the click classes is step or contains step 1. Okay, so I just want to point that out there. Their buttons are unique. You need to pay attention and click all over those buttons to make sure you're getting the information you need. So we got our event we're working on, or I'm sorry, not our event, our trigger. Click all elements, and we want some clicks. Click classes contains, and what was it again? It was step 1. So let's do step 1, just like that, and save. And then we need to come back to our tag, click on our add to cart tag, and we need to add the trigger to it, right? So we got our add to cart trigger up here, and save, and then submit and publish, and skip or continue, doesn't matter. If you want to fill out a description, go for it. We'll go back to workspace real quick. We'll go ahead and refresh real quick. We'll go ahead and refresh our funnel real quick, and we'll look at what's going on. So we have our Facebook pixel being fired once, awesome. That's what we wanted. We have our view content pixel also being fired once because they landed on this page. And then tags not fired on this page, we have add to cart. And that's awesome, right? So that means like we have the add to cart event on our page, but it hasn't fired yet. And that's good because we didn't press this button yet. So if I come up here and I fill out this form and I click this button here, we see, boom, just like that, that add to cart event moved up to tags fired on page. Also, if you caught it, you might need to rewind 10 seconds or whatever. This changed too. We see now that the add to cart event has been fired as well. So awesome, that worked. So very, very cool stuff. Now I do recommend going back, before you go live in real life, you go back and you double check clicking on like the button, the text, the subtext, etc. Make sure it fires on all those different locations, because you want to make sure it fires, everywhere, right? So that's important. But anyway, I think I illustrated the point where their buttons are unique. Okay, just know that fact. All right, in here, people will check out, they'll purchase whatever products they want to purchase. It's kind of hard to track dollar amounts. You could probably create some dynamic code to track those dollar amounts. You could probably create something to text or to calculate whether or not they buy the bump, but that's some tricky stuff. Okay, I recommend just going with your average order value with whatever they buy on this order form right here. Use that average order value for your purchase event, which is what we're setting up next in this video here. So I just want to point that out. You could likely do some fancy stuff, but that's advanced. All right, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to have a purchase event on our OTO1 page, right? So they go from order form page to OTO1 page. That means they purchase something, and we're going to trigger an event. So let me come to my funnel here, OTO1 page, and come over here to Tag Manager, and we'll do tags and new and FB purchase initial offer. All right, so this is our initial offer purchase. This is what I was talking about. I was talking a little ahead of the game, but hopefully you're tracking. And we'll come over here, find our purchase event here. So what I was talking about with the average order value of that initial order form, put that in right here. So let's say the average order value is $15, okay? And USD is our currency, and it gives us a little snippet down here. So we'll grab this little snippet, come back up into Google Tag Manager and custom HTML, throw our code in there. We're not going to mess with anything else. Save tag, come on down to triggers, new trigger, and then OTO1 purchase initial offer. So this is our initial offer trigger, and we're going to do when page view, some page views, and when let me come back over here and make sure we grab the correct variable. So let me pop up my upsell one page, and I click on page view over here and variables, and let's see what we got going on. So this is what I'm looking for, like page URL down here or page path, just like we did with the view content event. So we'll grab this cat1 and its page path. So page, where are we at? Page path equals, oh, that's not what we wanted. And it's /cat-us1, right? So save. We need to go back to our tags, click on it, and then add the trigger to our tag. So we got OTO1, purchase initial offer, and save. Cool. So let's go ahead and refresh this page real quick. And you know what? I forgot to publish my Google Tag Manager. So let's go ahead and submit and publish, continue. So if something doesn't load like you think it would, double check to make sure you published it first. Let's go to workspace and refresh. And then let's refresh our page, and hopefully we have a purchase event being fired on this page. And we do, right? Purchase initial offer event. We come here to our pixel. We see that we have a page view event, which means our pixel's on the page. And then we have a purchase event. We click this little drop down. We see the value, 15, currency, USD, and cool, looks like it's working over here. So awesome stuff right here. Then the next thing we want to go ahead and do is another purchase event if they actually buy our OTO. So if they click one of these buttons down here, we want to make sure that we track that purchase, right? So let's go ahead and set that up as well. So what we could do is set up different triggers. So we could set up a trigger for this button over here on the left and a different trigger for this button over here on the right. And I guess for the sake of example, so you can see multiple times, multiple cases where I'm doing this, we'll set one up for each button so you know how to do it, okay? Now, hopefully you know how to do a button from previously, but we'll do it again. All right, so the first one is $4.95, okay? So let's come back over to our pixel and do $4.95. Okay, grab this, come to Google Tag Manager, tags, and new tag, and FB purchase OTO 1 $4.95. All right, cool. Tag configuration, custom HTML, paste our code in there, leave everything else default, save tag, triggers, and then new down here, and OTO 1 purchase $4.95. All right, good enough. All right, this one, all elements, some clicks, and then we need to go figure out our variable over here. And so let's scroll down to our button, and we've got to resize this a little bit here. And I'm just going to click on the button and wait for a second, and we get a missing purchase error. So these OTO pages are a little tricky, but you're going to understand what to type in to Google Tag Manager, and you won't have to come in here and try and figure out the variables. You'll know what the variables are for the different pages. So anyway, let me go down and click on this button one more time. Let's see. All right, click on it. All right, so now it should stay. Let me make sure we're on the right click. Let me go to variables here, and we can look at what we have going on. So I have a couple different options over here. So, you know, click classes like we used on that, on the order form step 1. We got some other information over here like yes link and so on. But what we're going to do for these OTO buttons is the click text, because fortunately for these buttons, the text stays the same no matter where you click on the button. So that's a good sign, or a good thing, right? So that's good. So we know that add 1 pair of cat paw earrings to my order is our text that we're going to go ahead and track. So I'm just going to leave add, whoops. So I'm just going to copy this add 1 pair because that's what's unique. So I'll copy that and come back over to Google Tag Manager, and I want to do click, what was it? Click text, click text, click text, contains add 1 pair, and save. All right, cool. Let's come back over to tags and make sure we go ahead and associate the trigger with the appropriate tag. So OTO 1 purchase, save. And now let's go ahead and do our next one. So we got our OTO 1, but the 990 option. So we'll do new, and then we'll do FB purchase OTO 1 990. Tag configuration, excuse me, conversion value 990, and copy this code, come to Google Tag Manager, custom HTML, paste it on in there, leave everything else default, save tag, and then triggers, and then new, and then we'll do OTO 1 per purchase 990, and then trigger configuration, all elements, some clicks, click text, contains, and then what did the button say on it? Let me refresh my page here. So it says add 2 pair, add 2 pair. All right, cool, save. Go ahead and associate my trigger with my tag now. And triggering, and where are we at? Add 2 pair, and save, and submit, and publish, and skip, and let's go to workspace, and let's go ahead and refresh real quick. So let's go back and look at our funnel real quick. So what we've done is we've added a view content when this page loads, and add to cart when they click the go to step 2 button. And then on OTO 1, we added a purchase event when they land on this page. So they purchase this product landed on this page, we triggered or fired off a purchase event, and then we fired off a purchase event where they purchase option 1 or option 2 here, and they have different values associated with them. Up next, we would do the OTO2, and we'd set it up very similar to how we did the OTO1 page. Now, we would not do a purchase event on page load. We would do it only if they click the buttons. So that's the only difference. So no on-page load purchase, only if they click the button. So we just went through the process of setting up the trigger and the tags if they purchase with the button clicks, right? So same exact concept on order OTO2 as there is OTO1. Hopefully you got that. I don't want to go through it again because we've been here for quite a while. So there we go. There's those options. Now for the last option here, let's go ahead and set up our membership access option because we want to track a unique event, a custom event. There we go, a custom event if somebody actually registers for the membership portal. So let's come over and set that up real quick. So let's go back to Google Tag Manager real quick and go into tags and set up our tag and new. And then this will be membership login, create account, and tag configuration, custom HTML. And then we're going to drop our custom code in here. So basically to create a custom event with Facebook pixel events, you just do like the FBQ and then track custom and then whatever you want to name your custom event. And you could add extra parameters if you want to. I'll include a link below on how to go ahead and set up custom events, but there we go. So instead of like a purchase event, we have a custom one. All right, so that's all there is to it. And then we'll leave it as save and save tag. And then we got to go ahead and set up our trigger, of course. And we want to go ahead and do new and membership area, create account, and go ahead and set up our trigger. So come to ClickFunnels, and we need to go ahead and figure out what our button looks like over here. So let's come to, we can edit the page if we want to, just to see what's up. So we got to create your account button over here, and if we come over here, we see our sign up buttons, create your account. So that's basically the text of the button for people that are creating their account, right? And if you change it, then take note of it. So we'll do this create your account option and come back over to Google Tag Manager and go to all elements and some clicks, and we know that it is click text, right? We've done this several times now, looking at the click text contains or is or equals. So contains, create your account. That's good. So save. And then we want to go ahead and apply our trigger to our tag. So come on down, membership and triggering. And we want membership area, create account, and save. All right, cool. Then we'll go ahead and submit, publish, skip. Wait for it to load. Let's go back to workspace. Let's go ahead and refresh. And I think we should be good now. We should have all of our pixels and events and all that other stuff going off. So now the last step, of course, is to test everything out. So let's go back to Facebook pixel area and go to test events. And we want to go ahead and go to our funnel. So let's go grab our funnel URL to make sure that we're in the right space. So grab that right there, come over here, plug this in, and open website. And let's see what the heck happens. So there we go, we have our view content event going off because we had that event installed on our page right here. And then we also have our page view event going off too, and that just, you know, is a general pixel firing. So those are the events we wanted to see. Hopefully we see an add to cart event when we click go to step 1 or go to step 2. So where's my funnel? So here we are, and let me grab my credit card information and come on down here, select my country, and I'll click in the button and come back over, and there we go. We have our add to cart event. So yes, it seems to be working. We're going through the funnel. Things seem to be working okay. So let's come back over here and let's go ahead and buy this thingy. So and we'll add this and complete order. All right, so when this OTO page loads, hopefully we have a purchase event. So we do. We got a purchase event over here, and we see that it's $15. Again, that's our average order value for our initial offer. We went ahead and set that up. You can change it over time as you get to know your average order value. There's probably other ways to track it more accurately, but that's kind of advanced. So we just go average order value on that initial offer. So that's our objective there. All right, so now we have our OTO option that we did set up with the pixel. So hopefully it works, right? So if we go 1 or 2 pairs, let's just go 1 pair. And hopefully it triggers another purchase event of $4.95. So let's come over here and we see another purchase event and it's $4.95. So heck yes, seems to be working okay. So that's awesome. Now OTO2, we didn't set up our events, so nothing's gonna fire over here other than a regular page view option. So it doesn't really matter. So now in an ideal world, I'd go ahead and test out this cat library and make sure our custom event fires, but I'm having an issue because I'm already logged in and I'm an admin and I created the funnel and all that stuff. So having an issue, I'm gonna try something real quick and I'll let you know if it works. And so it did not work like I hoped it would. It logged me in automatically and I was not able to go ahead and click that create account button. But let's just say, for the sake of example, that it worked. We know that like the OTO options work by doing that click text trigger. So there's no reason why somebody creating their account should not trigger the event. It's just hard to do it in the same window that Facebook is watching. Now I could of course go and open a new incognito window and go through the process and come in here and double check things, but doing it within the test window is tricky business. But let's just say, for the sake of example, like it worked, okay? Because it should work. The trigger, the click text, all that stuff makes sense. It all aligns, just like the OTO button. So anyway, this has been a very, very long video, especially since I had to take like a 6-hour break in between recording it. And hopefully it makes sense. You understand how to use Google Tag Manager to track your entire funnel process. You see how you could track button clicks, so then you could track purchases on OTO pages and really get down to the nitty-gritty details of your conversions. So it is advanced, it is technical, it is kind of tricky, but hopefully this is helpful and gives you an inside scoop of how it all works. And thank you. Have a great rest of the day. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake. And I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business. And the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day.